Alright guys, bear with me for a second. Alright, here we are. Finally at the third part of this video series on the 522 trigger. This part you can skip right past if you're not interested in taking this apart and breaking it down. You can go right on to 4, which is going to be reassembling all the parts. Now, reasons for disassembling this assembly: clean it really well and do some polishing. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is take this pin. Again, everything, this is the way the trigger would be in the gun, everything comes off to the right side. So we're going to pull that pin out. Again, there is a spring that's in here. It's right up in the corner here. Not too hard to get back in, not too hard to take out. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. That's the Sear spring. But you have to take the pin out first. Make it a lot easier. Once you take that out, all the tension comes off that spring. Okay, now you can see the spring better. It's inside that channel right there. And it bottoms right up on here on the top of the housing. And what I'm going to do is I take it out from the back part of the trigger. And you can hold this piece down. And all you need to do, try to get it on the video, is right from the back here. We're going to push it out this way. So all I'm going to do is kind of grab a few of the coils and push down on the spring. And we're just trying to push it towards, not force it, but just push it towards the front. I actually use a little pin here. It's an old electrode to a multimeter. All we're going to do is push it towards the front. And there we go. Once you just push it, you're just depressing it a little bit and making it come towards the front. Once the cord comes towards the front, you can pull it right out. I'm trying to get as much of this on video as I can. Again, I have one of the worst cameras possible, but once that's out, you're just going to rotate the Sear from the back, and you'll be able to pull it right out. Now the Sear, this part has to go in first on reassembly, and I'll show you that. This will have to go in first. You're going to have to keep it there. Again, I'm showing you, trying to turn it for the video, but you can keep it flat. But once that's in, basically this sits in here just like this, and this pin on the inside is where that rests. That's why you're going to have to rotate it out. So that spring again basically sits right here. This is on the inside, and it rests up there. Okay, so that's all we were doing, was pushing it down a little bit to get it so we get it out the front. I'll show you an easy way to get it back in too. So now what we have all these apart, I'm going to show you something on the Sear here. Okay, this part of the Sear would be right here in the front of the trigger. And this is what contacts and engages the hammer. You can already see maybe a little bit where it's polished just from shooting the gun. Now this has a squared edge. You're going to want to keep that squared. You're not going to want to use a Dremel or an air tool or any type of rotary tools to do that. You're just going to want to use either 1000 or 1500. I always use 1000 first and 1500. But you can go right to 1500, and I always polish in the direction that the movement is. So if it's moving this way, I keep all the lines going that way. So you're just going to want to do the top part here, and then the underneath here. Just a little bit, just enough to smooth it out. Okay? Now, as far as the hammer is concerned, all I did on this was, again, this is a kind of a squared edge right here. You're going to want to keep that squared. Just the top part I smoothed, and then in this little valley here, smooth that out, okay? Make sure I got that on video. Yep, smooth that out. And basically, when those engage, the hammer comes back. The hammer comes back right there, hits that, rolls off of that, and then engages right there until you pull the trigger, which this will come up. that'll slide off and boom, you're firing. So those are two areas to polish, okay, on the hammer and on the Sear. Now taking it one step further, this is pretty gritty. The finish on the inside, a lot of texture to it. So on the sides of the trigger, where it's inside the trigger guard, I smooth the sides out to polish them, okay. Also, I'm going to just do the inside. Just take a piece of sandpaper and either 1000 or 1500. You could use just 1500. And you don't have to polish it to a mirror like this, but you just want to knock off and smooth some of that area where all these parts are rotating against each other and against this. Now, again, keeping that same idea, the Sear, I'm also going to do the flats to it. So I'll do all the flat areas just to kind of smooth it down. I might polish this up pretty decently, taking most of the finish off, but you don't have to go crazy with it. And then on this piece, the same thing. You can see where it's already been polished just from shooting it a little bit. I'm going to do the flat part here and then the flat part in here, where these two rub together at. So that's the only part as far as polishing besides this pin that goes through. It's aluminum, so you got to be careful, but I did polish the pin a little bit too, where the trigger, yeah, that's actually got to go through this way, the trigger rotates on. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to quickly, in case you just want to get right to it, I'm going to show you why I do all the polishing, how you throw this back together. Again, this piece has to go in first. So I'm going to try to do it, not do it at an angle, which will be a little tough so you can see it, but this part goes in first, just like so. And it'll just lay there. And then again, with the same idea, this part is going to look like this going into it. You're going to rotate it in there. So we'll just put it in there. Not real hard. You just kind of put it in there. It's not real hard to fit it in there until it's lined up. Once you got the holes lined up, take that pin and just kind of move it around till you get it perfect, but take that pin and push it through. You're going to have to move some stuff around like that. Now we're in. You can see where all those things rub against each other. That's why I'm going to do all that polishing in there. How much difference is it going to make? It's definitely going to make some difference. A lot is yet to be seen. I'm going to take this out tomorrow once it's all back together tonight and do some shooting with it. So I'll do a follow-up video as a range report for that, and also the Sear polishing in the hammer. So now that you got those pieces in there, here's where the spring comes in. And I put the spring in from the back here. All you need to do is set it. There's that channel inside of there. Try to show you the best that I can. Right down in here, there's a channel where you take that channel that I showed you, where you took it out of. Okay, and you're going to want to hold up on the Sear right there, and then just put that back down into that channel. Actually, let the Sear just fall first. I keep forgetting that part, and then just set it in the channel, right, just like that. Try to keep my fingers out of the way the best I can, but you just set it inside that channel. And all you're going to do is to press the spring back underneath here, okay? The easier part of it. Press it, stick it back underneath there, and then just push it into place. Like that. Sometimes I'll use, again, this pin to kind of get between the coils to put it where I want it. Okay, it's back in. So now it's all reassembled. We got the Sear in, the pin back in, the whole trigger assembly's back together. And at that point, you're just going to take your spring, put it back on, and you're done. Alright guys, that's it. I'm going to do some work here, then do the reassembly video. And again, now it's the same as just following all the steps you saw in the disassembly video, just backwards, but I will make the video to show you some tricks that I've learned doing it a few times now. And but that's that. So alright guys, stay tuned for the last one.